well, that is a very large hole in the ground. And over the course of the next 30 minutes, who am I kidding? It's probably going to be more like 50. We're going to hopefully make it look a little less bad. You might ask, well, what's the plan for transforming this wasteland? I don't know. I just hit record and have spent most of the last 30 minutes walking around like this, waiting for inspiration to strike from above. And, well, it hasn't, so let's just try the old crack our head against the brick wall until it breaks method. So that's the plan for this video. We just got to fix this. Very simple, very sweet. So let's check out what we've got so far, eh? I think we're being very ambitious, imagining that we'll get all the way up there in half slab increments. But that's what we will try. First off, though, let's mark out where we think the edges of the road are going to be. Just realised I had the recording paused. So, we're trying to navigate this corner at the moment, where we've got this transition from the staircase just being in straight lines across, like here downwards, to this section up here, which is like basically at a 45-degree angle, kind of. So it's just going to be diagonal lines straight across. So we got to try and figure out how we transition from one to the other. It looks a little bit janky, but that's fine. It's okay. I would not want to be a cart driver driving up this staircase. Actually, to be honest, I wouldn't really want to be a person walking up this staircase. I'd be fucking gassed by the time I got to the end of it. But we'll ignore that. We'll ignore that. So let's check in at the top, see how we managed. Okay, we've got two problems. First problem, this looks like dog shit. Second problem, I have pretty severely underestimated the slope. Got my gradients totally wrong. Yeah, we're gonna be hitting this level fucking miles out here. I don't think that's actually going to be too big of a deal. The bigger of the two problems is that this bit looks like total shit. But I think that's something that we can fix once we get this to the right level. Then we can damage control from there. In the meantime, I will do this for another several hours. That's a lot better. So I suppose that's problem one solved, kind of, for now. Problem two, I kind of gave up on. I think the square is just going to be at this level, and then we'll just figure out how we're going to blend it into the rest of this section up here. But now, let's mark out where we think the rest of this square is going to be. Not the easiest shape to work with. Oh no, that's terrible. Actually, that's awful. A full quarter of it is taken up by the fucking staircase. That's never gonna work. We make big doo-doo of that. So if it comes out to like here, starts to curve around there, what does that look like? How many blocks is that? That's quite far away. That's fine. This, don't want to push this out too much further, otherwise we're gonna be getting pretty close to here. Yeah, okay, let's just bring this up here and then match it round to there. Right, so that's what we're going to be dealing with. It's like a rectangle with rounded edges. Let's get rid of all the terrain that's in there. Okay, I think it's plenty big enough. Right. So I think we've got to do some terraforming now. Okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I need to knock down these edges a bit. And I think I also need to bring this bring the roof of this tunnel upwards a bit, because at the moment it's really far back here. And I think what I'm essentially wanting is along this edge here to build out a sort of kind of like a balcony, if you will. And then we'll have two big trees with like their roots dangling down. If I could bring it to like here, that would be good. So let's knock these edges down first. Let's do one block up from the stairs, so, or a half block where we're on a level that's slabs. Take this up and down on both sides, and then that will be our border. Actually, fuck that, that's not going to be high enough. We'll do a block on these levels where it's not slabs. On the levels where it's slabs, let's do a block and a half. let's stop it at that one for now, because we're going to have to blend this into the plan for the kind of perimeter. Okay, terraforming for this bottom part is done. I need to figure out what I'm going to actually do with this barrier. At the moment, it's just a stone brick wall, so we're going to have to make that a bit better, but we'll do that later. For now, let's fix what's going on here. Okay, this is a nightmare. Okay, what the fuck? I think it's time to crack out some coloured wool. If I put the entrance arch here, what does this look like? Probably be that tall. It might be a bit smaller. Do that. It is beginning to look small if I put it there, which would put our balcony about here. Oh, but I don't want the balcony to be further back. I think we've got to put our entrance there, honestly. I wish it could be a bit taller. Even that makes a difference. I think getting the shape of the arch in wool is going to be important, because that way we can... Oh, fuck me. It's just off diagonal. I was thinking that it was going to just be a straight... Well, as straight as a diagonal line can be, I suppose. The diagonal lines can be straight. Anyway, I thought that the axis this was going to be on was just a straight, like, 45, but I think if we do that, it's going to be a little bit off. That angle is not right. Yeah, that... I naturally want to be kind of going like this, and that line is kind of going like off there instead. Okay, so it needs to kind of, I guess, rotate clockwise. It's a bit better. If anything, it's kind of too much. I mean, we could maybe just live with it. Could we live with it? Can I live with it? That's a question for me. We can probably just, generally speaking, put an arch over in like that direction, and we'll find ourselves in roughly the right spot. But that's a good indication of the line I think that this needs to be anyway. So let's use this as an indication of angle and height. Ugh. I don't think it's bad for a first attempt. What I'm trying to avoid is doing this all fucking manually like I did for all of this, because that just took so long. I think it does look good, but it took so fucking long. And ooh. That's a work in progress. Okay, let's just start filling in these gaps. Okay, we're getting there on the outside, but it still looks a little bit fucking weird, maybe? Oof. You like that, you like that, you like this. What do I do with these bits? Here and here. Putting so much effort into this, I'm just going to be building over it. But the issue is, if it looks like shit at this stage, I'm not going to be able to, like, picture what it is I'm actually wanting to put here. I think I need to break that. Yep, that needed to happen. I think for the outside, let's call that a win, which just leaves smoothing this inside piece. But we've spent quite enough time on this terraforming, so let's just skip forward to when it's done. Okay, so the inside is looking a bit better. That's now all the terraforming done inside. We're also done out here for now. When we get to actually building this, this is going to look very, very different. But for now, before we get carried away with this, I'd actually much rather just start building this. Let's go back in here. We need to figure out what's going on in here. I think what would look cool is if we can do some form of pillars spaced along each of the sides. I think that would look really cool from here. If you can imagine, that will naturally lead your eye towards this arch, and then the pillars will kind of like guide your attention up towards that bit of light up there, which is not very good news for these two bits, which I spent a really fucking long time building, but oh well. Okay, we've got some placeholder pillars. As to spacing, I've done that very much by eye. So when they're done, I hope they look good, because I am simply not moving them. I think we've got them pretty evenly spaced out. When everything's in place, you're not really going to be able to tell. And also, it's just a little bit difficult to, like, how do you actually evenly space these pillars out based on, like, what, because the shape that they're on is just, it's not a straight line. It's also not a perfect circle. So how do you do it? I don't know. But this is what we've got, and I think it looks okay. If we imagine ourselves walking up this way as if we just come in from the gate down there, yeah, I think that works. Like, the pillars are gonna lead us up the staircase. I tried some different sizes for the pillars. Like, I tried at first to do just a 2x2, but I think they were going to look a little bit too dainty, and they'd kind of be out of place with this, which is the cross pattern. Then I also opted for the 3x3, but same way that the 2x2 was a little bit too dainty, if we went 3x3 top to bottom, it would just look way too chunky. So, cross it is. Okay, I don't think I want it to come out to this corner. I think if we come out to this corner block, they are going to be really, really big. Oh, it's not terrible. That is not terrible. That is terrible. I do need to try and get some blue in here. So it's got to that stage of the building process where I'm going to basically just tinker with this for like, I don't know, the best part of an hour. Nobody needs to see all of that, so I think I'm just going to check back in when I've got the finished product. All right, this is what we've come up with. Crucially, trapdoor here. Why? Don't ask me why. And these, and also that, and this. And just like that, we're done. I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing with this layer. At the moment, it's a bit blocky. And I think we can probably do something better than what is there just now. I'm just going to put the feet on the pillars and then come back to it. I'm sure it'll be really, really quick. Okay, feet are on all the pillars, and I figured out what to do with this bit. Just put a stair block there. So much genius. Very smart. Wow. So let's now figure out what we're doing with the tops of the pillars. I think we're going to have to do something along the lines of this, where we start quite close in to the pillar here and then slowly curve out. Otherwise, if we curve out too slow, it's just going to like carry on for fucking ages, right? Cobblestone? Where am I using cobblestone? I'm using cobblestone in this fucking nightmare of a pillar. Where else am I using cobblestone? What if I don't put anything there, and instead I just do like that? Oh, that might be my favourite one actually, because it takes a bit of the chunk out of the pillar. All right, I like this thing that's going on here, but it's very grey, so I need to get more blocks into it. Before I do that, I'm going to just copy this around on the four sides of this pillar and then over here, and then I will start to tinker with the corners and other types of block. Okay, so we've got this monstrosity. Fuck it, let's just put it on the rest of them and see what it looks like. Look at that. All the pillars are now done. For the most part, I literally did a carbon copy of these with a few individual differences depending on which pillar it was. Like, for instance, on this one, it's a little bit different at the top. And, of course, the wall comes in to meet the pillar at different points. So they're all pretty much the same, but adapted a little bit depending on the unique situation of each pillar. As to what to do next, I think we need to do something about the actual staircase itself, and particularly these barriers on the side, because at the moment they look shit. Okay, let's tackle the stairs first. I'm conscious that whatever I do in this bit where it's straight up is going to rapidly run into complications when we get to this mess here. And then it's also got to link up with whatever the fuck we're doing up here. So I don't really know what to do. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, I think. As a first attempt, let's try and keep this dark prismarine shit going, and then see how that looks. See if that looks like total doo-doo caca. Okay, beginning to get into fucky territory. No, there's no way. This is just completely fucked. There's absolutely no shot. There is no shot that I can do that pattern up here. I don't even know why I started that. Why did I even start that? Just simply never going to work. Right, so I've added in these. suppose they're just little bits of decoration, kind of every third step from the bottom to the top. I am a little stuck on what else I can add here that's not going to really make this messy and also be somewhat easy to do. I am wonder whether it's possible to, like, if I just stuck in like rows of andesite, would that look terrible? Oh, you know what? I don't mind that. Let's take this this andesite thing all the way up. And then I think we can probably call the staircase done for now. And then we can just focus on what the fuck we're going to do with this border. All right, we've done the andesite thing for the length of the staircase. It gets a little bit fucky somewhere here. It's every other layer everywhere else except here, but don't look at it. And you know what? I think it's okay. I don't think we need to spend any more time or energy thinking about this bit of the staircase. I think we have other things to focus on. When we get to tackling this outdoor bit, we'll see what we do here. Right, what have we got to deal with next? We've got to deal with this. How does that wall thing work on the diagonal, though? That's a good question. Maybe do something like that. I like the idea of adding some depth, but not if it's shit depth. So I spent a good chunk of time trying to make that wall thing look okay, but it quickly became apparent that it was a doomed effort. So I've come up with another plan, which I think will work a lot better than this. I think it's going to be a bit cleaner. Yeah, it's going to be a bit cleaner. And then I also thought about how we're going to actually light the staircase, because obviously all this glowstone's going to clearly not fucking be there. So thought we could reuse those torch design that we've got from the middle over here and stuck it there. These are units of 5, so we'll do every second one, so they'll be every like 10 blocks apart, and I think that will take care of the lighting at floor level. Alright, so we have got the border done. Just carried on with the deep slate, and then every 10 blocks putting in a torch. I then took the glowstone out of the actual stairwell just to see how well lit this thing is. I think we're okay. It is a little bit dark, but I think it's an alright level of lighting. It's like maybe a little dark in like these areas, but it's okay. It's moody. Spent about 20 minutes just now thinking about what to do next. I think it's the roof that we need to do, and the plan is just to continue what we've got here all the way up through here. Let's start with these stalactitey bits. Let's get some orange wool. Just mark out where we maybe want a few of those. I don't want so many of them. Yeah, okay, that's good. Let's then grab the yellow wool. Now this is the bit that's gonna take fucking forever. Let's use the yellow wool to mark out the vines. This is gonna take fucking so long. Okay, I'm gonna check back in when I've got all these in place. Seriously, nobody needs to see all of that happening. Fuck me. That took so fucking long. But okay, we've got our placeholder vines in situ. Eventually, we'll just use World Edit to convert them to the... What was it we were using? Moss. And then I think this is a terracotta, and then this is a concrete. First, though, let's do these rock forms. Now, I think I was using... Yeah, okay, I was just using stone, andesite, tuff, and then the dripstone. Are we going to put deep slate in there? I think we do need to put some deep slate in there. Alright, rocks are done. Let's do the roof, like the actual ceiling itself. So if I come in here, I seem to remember that what I did was basically just kind of go around with a brush and just paint it kind of sporadically over the ceiling. What ratios? Let's keep it 20% stone. So let's do, and within that, we'll do 12% stone. Fucking 5% tough. 3% then let's do 40% green, 5% concrete. I swear if there's a spelling mistake in this, I'm gonna cry. 15% moss. And let's do just 2. Fuck off! Oh, it's moss block. Easy. Then we need to mask it to Stoneby. Okay, now to add in... do I do this or do I not do this? Here... Where can you see it? Here, I've got a kind of rough border of, like, deep slate... some of the other blocks that we've been using. Do I put that here? Don't know whether I can do that with World Edit or whether I'd have to just do it by hand. That is a task to do it by hand. But unfortunately, I think it is one that will make the place look better, so it is probably worth doing as a result. Let's skip on a bit, shall we? Why do I do this to myself? Nobody is going to see this. Why do I feel the need to be here doing this? Okay, I'm alright with the base of the roof, if you will. This bit of the roof. Next, let's do... next let's do the leaves. What leaves am I using? Those are acacia leaves. No, they are not. Azalea leaves. Yes, they are. Next thing is to stick in the glowberries. I'm basically just doing these in random clumps where there are gaps. And then hopefully we'll be able to get rid of this this glowstone that's up here. And then we'll realise that you can't fucking see any of this and it was an entirely wasted couple of hours. Oh, and I've also forgot the vines. Fuck. I wish I'd properly forgotten about these because doing these sucks. Okay, we'll do that after we've done the glowberries, but I've also got to add in these. Holy shit. Holy shit. I am over this already, and I'm here! Got to get all the way up there. Oh my goodness me, my eyes. Okay, vines are done. Before I change the yellow wool into the vines, I'm going to have a go at sticking some glowberries in. And I'm going to do them where I think I'm going to need them. Wow, that was... learned literally nothing in that sentence. One in there, one up, two up here. Okay, let's try it. God, you literally just immediately lose any sense of where the vines are. Does feel nice doing this though. Cool. Then let's now get rid of the glowstone. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's a good level of lighting. Right. One thing I'm thinking is, do I put flags like these, basically, from here? They'd have to be quite long though. But other than those flags, which will be pretty quick to do, the major outstanding tasks here, I think, are going to be incorporating slabs, walls, and step blocks into the terrain here. I had originally decided in this room that I wasn't going to bother. I think I'm going to go back on that. It just looks so much better. So I'll apply that in this room, but then I'll probably also go back off camera. But to be honest, most of me doing it in this room is going to be off camera as well. But I'll also do it in this room, I think. Like, we went to such an effort to terraform these two rooms in here. Seems a bit of a shame not to apply it in these spaces as well, even though they're much bigger. So I could start it and then end up rapidly regretting that I'd ever had that thought. The other thing, though, is I think at the moment this is a very liminal space, and while it is cool, for some reason I'm still thinking it's a little bland. So what I want to do is try and add in some monuments, if you will. You know how in like some churches you'll get monuments to things and people on the walls? I feel like we could put a few of those around the walls of this, and it would just take it from what it is now, which is pillars, roof, stairs, that sort of thing. Like cool, but not incredibly interesting, into like a little bit more of a unique spot. And then of course we've got to figure out what the fuck we're doing with this entrance. Or exit, depending on which way you're coming in. This is the type of shit that I mean. It's very gloomy though, so let me just light it up. This is, of course, not going to stay here. It's meant to be a memorial. I don't really know what for, but I didn't want to put any of the blue colours that we've been using into this because I feel like it needs to be sober. Anyway, this is the type of shit that I mean. So we're going to put a couple more of this sort of thing around the place. I think we're going to put 3 smaller ones on this wall. So like there, there, and maybe there. And maybe a slightly bigger one on that face there. Okay, that's one. Let's just do one more and let's stick it up here somewhere. So I did a little bit more off camera. And I think we've got all of the little monuments now done that I had planned for this section. So we've got the slightly bigger one, but not as big as this one over here. I'm actually pretty proud of this one. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I think it's all right. This one's very plain, but it kind of has to be for the space. They're very random in how I'm putting them together. This could be a little tomb, I don't know, someone could be buried there. Yeah, really the function of these is nothing specific, it's just to make the space be a little bit more interesting than just a totally kind of hallway type section where like you just walk on through the middle and don't really pay attention to anything. It's like little bits of, I don't know, eye candy. Then I also started the terraforming. I've actually done all of this side, so just, you know, putting in the slabs and where's a stair block? Here's a stair block. It's just amazing how much better it makes it look once you add that level of detail in and you break it up from just being, you know, blocks. Then I've also got started on this side. I reckon I'm about 40% of the way there, so just got to finish off this top bit. Okay, I think that's the terraforming done. Let's get rid of all this shit. So these, if you remember, these are what we use to indicate dead vines. So I'm just going to put a couple around the place. One there, one here, one there. That's probably okay. So let's get rid of all this glowstone. I have a feeling it's going to be really dark, and we're going to have to figure out some way of incorporating more lights in here. Okay, I think that's actually maybe fine. Potentially all I do actually is I just put some more glowberries in the bits actually closer to the wall. Like if I put, like for instance, if I stick a glowberry there and there, then we get some illumination. Yeah, that's what I do. I think that's how I do it. Another one over here. Okay, we got some dark bits like here, but I think that's fine. Don't want too much light, otherwise you kind of lose some of the atmosphere. But that is this hallway complete. So now we come to this, and I guess all of this as well, because we're finally outside again. I am actually genuinely psyched to not have to build underground for a little bit, bar whatever we do on the entrance here, of course. But other than that, we're pretty much outside for the rest of the build, I think. What we're definitely not going to do is really kick off in earnest out here, because I think we're already at something like 20 plus minutes, and if I were to start doing that and include it in this video, we'd be well into the 50 minutes to an hour range. So I think for this one, all we're going to do is just some fairly extensive wool planning, just to give us an idea of what is going where, and then next video, we'll kick off in earnest out here. Okay, so let me think. Let me visualize! Enough of that. Let's go. So what we're doing on the entrance here, if you remember, this is the rough like angle that the entrance is going to be on. But I think the plan for it is just going to be to match this. So we'll just put 2 pillars on either side and we'll connect it over the top. And we might even hang another one of those torchy things on it. Fuck that. No, we won't. I forget that this is on an angle, which is going to fuck everything up. Okay. We are going across in a diagonal at the moment. If you remember, that wasn't quite the angle I wanted, but I don't know that I can get away from that. Oh, why did I build this on an angle? Fuck's sake. Should have stuck to my 90 degrees. I feel like it kind of naturally wants to come down here. Oh, yeah. Like, it's got to go there, right? If I come down here, that doesn't really work, does it? But this might fuck me up elsewhere. Maybe it's just as simple as that. It might be too chunky. I think it's too chunky. So let's bring it to 4. So I think the height is right, but what I'm trying to do here is figure out whether it's possible to add in a bit of, I don't know, curvature. I think that I can. So let's then try coming out like this. Why does it look so trash? Maybe it's too big. The whole thing is too big, maybe. I actually think that could be it. I think we need to come in again. Yeah, this is looking way better. This is looking way better. I feel like in a different style, something like this would be good. This kind of almost gives me like Disneyland vibes. So if you were building something like that, maybe that works, but I'm kind of not. We've also got to be somewhat mindful that if we want to put trees here, Do we want the canopy of the trees to be below the tops of these towers or above them? I think below them, so these do have to be quite tall. Okay, that is looking a little better. Now let's just think about the tops. Here's a thought. If I stay 2 by 2, I could actually go one further. What I like about the one on the left is that I don't want these to be towers. I want them to be more like spires. So the one on the left actually, I think, achieves that better, to be honest. Fuck it, let's go with the one on the left. Okay, so with these in place, let's try and figure out where the balcony is going to be. Okay. I think I've got the angle right on this. It's a little tricky because, again, it's not quite diagonal and it's certainly not straight. But I think that's a pretty good indicator. So I think what we then do is we just kind of loosely bring it down. Okay, let's leave it there. And then in these 2 spaces on either side is going to be where we put the tree. Well, the 2 trees. Now, I'm not going to, like, build out the shape of the tree in this, but I will just put something roughly. When you're actually up here and on this balcony, I also don't want it to be particularly big. I don't want this balcony to be the edge of another big square up here. I want this to be actually pretty intimate. I reckon we probably want this to come out to probably about there. Then it was time to mark out the exits to the square, which I think will stick around here. I'd like one on this corner, because we need to be able to get out this way and access this back part. We'll put it like there and like there. We, of course, need one here. I think this one we can maybe make be a bit bigger. Make be a bit bigger. Wow, that's great. Me do good words. The reason why I think this one could be, honestly, maybe even a little bigger still is because, well, the main chunk of the city is going to be this way. Do we even need another one over here? I think we do, honestly. I think we do need another one over here. Okay, this one is a bit messy. So that's roughly how this corner is going to work. Let's now, as the last piece of planning, let's put some more of these towers about the place, and then let's also add in the aqueduct type element of this that I've been talking about. Okay, so that's a little bit of a lie, because in this cut, I don't think I've mentioned the word aqueduct once. I was having real issues trying to put into words what my plans were for this section of the build, and for some reason, the only word that was coming to mind was aqueduct. I don't know why. I mean, it's literally just a bunch of towers with some arches in between. Even that would have been enough. But I got hung up on the word aqueduct. Anyway, it'll be clear in a moment. Bear with me. So, where do we want the big towers? I don't think we can have big towers on every gate, but I'm thinking it possibly makes sense to have big towers over here, because this is the biggest stairway. I think that makes sense. Let's do that. Okie doke. We've got these. What should we do now? Let's do smaller ones on either side of these stairways. How tall do I want these to be? Okay, I think that's tall enough, because then there's enough space for the archy bit to come out of here. Let's use these. So it's going to be easy to put them over there, but not so easy over here. So let's do the easy side. Okay, now for the problematic one. I think we move this further left, because then it comes onto a bit more of a flush bit, and then we can essentially just copy-paste these 2 pillars either side, and we don't need to worry about trying to put them onto an angle, because it's essentially going to be flush here. Oh, please be good, please be good, please be good, please be good. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, so all that leaves in terms of planning, and yes, I am ignoring the middle, is to put in what will be what I'm calling archy bits, for lack of a better phrase, that will link these towers. Let's actually just start off first with a flat ring. to get the height, and then we can do the arches beneath it. No, I think the left one. I think the slightly lower one is better. It makes these spires look like they're a bit taller. Okay, let's do it at that level all the way around. That's a good height. Now we just need to figure out the arches, and then we can call it quits for this video, I think. Okay, we might need to start over here, because this is the smallest gap. Let's imagine splitting it in two. So I'm thinking we're probably not going to be able to get away with uniform gaps in between all the way around, just because I did not put that level of planning into this. How many is that? That's 5. Okay, we'll ignore the corner. Strategically ignore the corner. 5? Yes. And then we just bring this up. I would be genuinely amazed if we end up perfectly reaching the end there. I think we might have to do some skullduggery on the corner here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't look bad at all. These are a little close together, but they actually look fine. I'm like so surprised the spacing actually kind of works there. Okay, last one. I think we can put one there. Okay. So I think we're in a pretty good place in terms of plans for the next stage of this build. We've got... what have we got? We've got the exit to the tunnel. We've got the perimeter to the square. And we've got this little corner piece where I know that I'm going to have a balcony and 2 great big trees on either side overhanging this section of the square. I think this is a sensible place to stop for today. So, what have we accomplished in this video? Well, the most important thing is we're fucking finally finished with building underground. We've been underground for quite some time. Last video, we concentrated on building out the sides of the cave, putting in a barracks, armory, and open plan office space. Don't think too hard about that one. And a big swanky guild hall. There you go. We've now added to that this. Okay, I mean, it's essentially a hallway, but I think it's a pretty cool hallway. And we've laid the groundwork for the first real part of the city, meaning the bits that are going to be up here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple of videos. It'll be fun to build outside again and start to populate what is at the moment an entirely blank canvas, really, except for this, of course. But until then, fucking see you later.